Welcome back to Texas Untold, a history podcast where we peel back the layers of legend and fact to uncover the real stories that make Texas what it is today. I'm your host, Jeremy Farley, and today we're diving into something that's confused more than a few travelers, students, and even proud Texans, the Colorado River. Wait a minute, isn't that the one that carved the Grand Canyon? Well, not quite. Believe it or not, but there are two Colorado rivers in the United States, and the one that winds through the Texas Hill Country has nothing to do with the Grand Canyon or, ironically enough, the state of Colorado. So grab a cup of coffee or some sweet tea, and let's talk about rivers, names, and why our Colorado is 100% Texan. Let's clear the confusion right now, right out of the gate. The Colorado River of the West is the famous one. It starts in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado, flows through Utah and Arizona, carves the Grand Canyon, and eventually empties into Mexico's Gulf of California. The Colorado River of Texas, however, doesn't even come near the Grand Canyon, or the Rockies, or even the Four Corners region. They are completely separate rivers with identical names, and that has led to some real head-scratchers over the years. So how did Texas end up with its own Colorado River, and what's the story behind it? Texas's Colorado River is no slouch. At about 862 miles long, it is the longest river entirely within the state of Texas. It begins up in Dawson County, up in the Panhandle Plains, and flows southeast through cities like San Angelo, Austin, and LaGrange, eventually emptying into the Gulf of Mexico. Along the way, it powers hydroelectric dams, supplies drinking water, irrigates farmland, and fuels recreation for thousands of Texans. It is a river that shaped not just the land, but the people and culture around it. The word Colorado comes from Spanish meaning colored or reddish, likely a reference to the muddy red-tinged waters early explorers saw after heavy rains. Spanish explorers in the 1600s and 1700s gave that name to both rivers at different times. The Spanish Empire was vast, and naming was, well, let's just say they weren't too worried about duplication. Texas's river may have even been called the Brazos de Dios, Arms of God, by some early missionaries, before the current name stuck. By the time Anglo settlers arrived, the Texas River was already well known as the Colorado, or the Colored or Reddish River, and the name carried on, despite the growing fame of its distant cousin in the west. The Colorado River in Texas has a long history of flooding, settlement, and struggle. In the 1800s, towns along the river sprang up thanks to its water and fertile land. But devastating floods, including some in the early 1900s, prompted state and federal interest in controlling the river. That's where the Lower Colorado River Authority, the LCRA, comes in. Formed in 1934 as part of the New Deal effort to tame Texas's rivers, the LCRA built a chain of dams that created the Highland Lakes, a string of reservoirs that include Lake Buchanan, Lake Travis, and others. Those lakes helped with the flood control, hydroelectric power, and economic development across central Texas. Today, millions of Texans rely on the Colorado River for drinking water, energy, agriculture, and recreation. The Colorado River flows right through the heart of Austin, where it's dammed to form Lady Bird Lake, a favorite for kayakers, paddleboarders, and joggers along the trail. It also flows past historic communities, ranch lands, and even state parks. It's not just a waterway, it's a thread running through the fabric of Texas life. From the high plains of the Gulf Coast, the Colorado River has helped define what it means to live in Texas. Tough, independent, resourceful, and always adapting. In a state as big and thirsty as Texas, rivers matter, and the Colorado River is one of the most contested and carefully managed resources the state of Texas has. Every drop of water matters, whether it's filling a city reservoir, irrigating a cotton field, or flowing into a bay where shrimp and oysters grow. That's why it's still a topic of political debate, environmental focus, and scientific study. In drought years, tensions rise. In flood years, we remember the power this river still holds. It may not get the Hollywood treatment like the Grand Canyon's Colorado River, but in Texas, the Colorado River is our lifeline. So next time someone mentions the Colorado River, go ahead and ask them which one, because in Texas, we've got our own, and it's carved a legacy just as deep in the hearts of Texans as any canyon out west. Thanks for joining me on Texas Untold. If you learned something new today, give us a follow, hit the subscribe button, and give us a thumbs up. Leave a comment as well, and share this episode with your favorite Texas-loving friend. Until next time, y'all take care, and keep exploring the untold stories of Texas.